Yesterday, interesting, Governor J.B. Pritzker, after a news conference, approached me and offered me a choice of a corn dog with mustard or a corn dog with ketchup. That's after, I think, in previous years, I'd asked him about being pro-choice because he's always talking about, ketchup on mustard or mustard on corn dogs is the only way to go. Listen, I go both ways. I actually put both ketchup and mustard on my corn dog, but just in a kind of fun-natured, back and forth. Either last year or the year before, I'd asked him about, hey, you're pro-choice. You talk a lot about mustard on corn dogs, but what about making sure others have that choice? It was just a silly question, but interesting to see that. For the record, I told him I couldn't accept a gift from the governor, and regardless, I still took the corn dog from him, did not consume it, already had breakfast. But that was yesterday. Interesting start to my Thursday, but it is Friday here with Illinois in Focus Daily, and if you're watching the video show, you saw that video of Governor Pritzker bypassing another journalist that he's had, back and forth about whether or not ketchup goes on corn dogs, and instead goes right towards me. Somewhat surreal, but there you go. That's Illinois State Fair's underway. We're going to review a little bit of that just to kind of let you guys know it's a pretty big deal in Springfield. If you're in the area, you know all about it. If you're from different parts of the state, you may have been here years ago, but $140 million has gone into the Fairgrounds, and it's looking pretty good. So if you want to see how your tax dollars are working, go over to the Illinois State Fair. It's open now. It's going to be open until the 17th. So we've got a whole host of activities we're going to be covering next week when it comes to politics. Democrat Day, Governor's Day, Wednesday, and then Thursday's Republican Day next week. So big stuff happening. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We also got to get to the latest in the ongoing debate about gerrymandering, and now it's gotten to the point where an Illinois state senator has joined the Texas House to sue to allow for absconding Democrats from Texas to be arrested. So we'll get into that. We'll also get into the latest polling data from Illinois Policy and M3 about Pritzker's approval rating. So you'll be able to hear about that and get a Republican response. But also, again, as I said, we've got the state fair that we've got to preview. But go to Illinois' The Center Square website. All right, it's thecentersquare.com/Illinois. There you'll be able to get the newsletter, wake up with headlines in your inbox each and every weekday morning. You can also donate as well, but you'll see some of the headlines we're going to be talking about today. Texas House, Illinois State Senator sue 33 AWOL Democrats in Illinois court. You've got the governor welcoming FBI to Illinois, but dismisses a question about bribery and so much more. So check all of that out at thecentersquare.com. But again, a way you can stay plugged in each and every weekday morning. Grab that cup of coffee and join us for Illinois in Focus Daily. Each and every weekday morning here, I'm Greg Bishop. I am the editor of The Center Square, Illinois. So we'll see you here each and every weekday morning. All right, we've got 3 segments coming up. Stay tuned. It's Illinois in Focus Daily with The Center Square. The Texas House and an Illinois state senator suing 33 away without leave Democrats in Illinois courts and seeking to domesticate Texas warrants in Illinois to allow for the arrest and return of those Democrats. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning. The latest from our contributor down in Texas, Bethany Blakely. She's on top of this story, and Blankley says that you've got this ongoing court battle now that we're going to have to keep track of because it was filed by Texas House Republicans and an Illinois Republican state senator in Adams County. So we'll get to that, but some of the other headlines that you've got to also get ready for. You've got Governor Pritzker saying that he's welcoming the FBI to Illinois to search for those absconding Democrats, but he says there's no federal law broken. So we'll touch on that as well and get some more of the minutia about the map-making process. So let's go right to Bethany Blankley's story here and read through this together. So you can, again, get this in your inbox if you get the newsletter each and every weekday morning, but let's just get right to it. The Texas House of Representatives suing 33 House Democrats who absconded to Illinois to prevent a vote on congressional redistricting efforts in the Lone Star State. The lawsuit was filed in the 8th Judicial Circuit Court in Adams County, Illinois. It asks the court to hold the Democrats in contempt and to domesticate Texas warrants, allowing for absconding Democrats to be arrested and brought back to Texas. The lawsuit was filed by the Texas Office of Attorney General and Illinois State Senator Jill Tracy. I am set to talk with Senator Tracy a little bit later on this morning. I wanted to get her on live this morning, but it was pretty last minute when I was able to get a hold of her. But we will hear her thoughts on this, and this is going to be a story we'll continue to track. But the lawsuit, it says from day one, I've said that all options are on the table when it comes to making sure my colleagues who have fled the House return to fulfill their constitutional obligations. That's Dustin Burrows, the Texas House Speaker, signing civil arrest warrants for 56 House Democrats on Monday. Keep in mind, the Democrats fled Sunday night ahead of the Monday Texas General Assembly getting together. So the majority of Democrats remain defiant, unmoved by threats of arrest, and 33 of them remain in the Chicago area. So it goes on. The Texas House Speaker says the members who fled have been given ample time and opportunity to return on their own accord, and because they have continued to refuse their responsibilities to their constituents and return to Texas, the state has no choice but to pursue additional legal remedies to compel their return from other states. Our full focus is on stopping this dereliction of duty and restoring quorum in the Texas House as soon as possible so we may return our time, attention, and resources where they matter most on the critical issues of the special session call. The House Speaker in Texas also issued warrants pursuant to this authority through the Texas Constitution and House rules, stating that when a call of the House is issued, which Burrows did on Monday, all absent from whom no sufficient excuse is made, by order of majority of those present, be sent for and arrested wherever they may be found. So that filing, again, in Illinois court in Adams County from Texas Republicans and Republican State Senator Jill Tracy names the 33 different House Democrats they believe are in Illinois. The Texas Democrats protesting, drawing maps. All right, so here you got the latest in this case, and you can read more about that and delve even deeper with Bethany Blankley's story at thecentersquare.com. But let's hear a little bit about the ongoing question of the FBI now getting involved. And this was breaking yesterday morning when Texas U.S. Senator John Cornyn, he said that the FBI has agreed to take this case and to help assist in finding these individuals. Again, go to thecentersquare.com where you can read about this. Pritzker welcomes FBI looking for Dems in Illinois from Texas and dismisses a bribery question. So as the FBI gets involved in locating Texas Democrats hiding out in states like Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker says they're welcome, but the Democratic governor insists absconding the legislators aren't breaking any federal law. At the request of John Cornyn, the FBI Thursday agreed to assist with locating Texas Democrats who fled the state to prevent the Texas House from reaching a quorum to change congressional district maps. Then you have Governor Pritzker being asked about the FBI getting involved yesterday after he cut the ribbon on the Illinois State Fair.
Look, I've said it before, this is a lot of grandstanding by the Trump administration, by John Cornyn, by Governor Abbott in Texas. The reality is that all that he has said, Cornyn, is that the FBI has been authorized to locate the Texas House Democrats. Nothing more. And you know why? Because there is no federal law that allows them to arrest Texas Democrats who are here visiting the state of Illinois. I welcome the FBI coming to the state. I hope they take in the state fair. I hope they go see the beauty of Lake Michigan. Yeah, adventure awaits for all of them, but they won't be arresting anyone because there is no U.S. federal law that prohibits those Texas House Democrats from being here in the state of Illinois.
But again, you've got the question here of the lawsuit that's now been filed and just how rapid that lawsuit may have to be addressed because this is an ongoing, and time-sensitive issue. So what's going to happen in Adams County, we'll be watching closely as to if they're given that jurisdiction and to have their warrants domesticated in Illinois so that Texas can come and try to round up these Texas Democrats and take them back to the Lone Star State. So how's that interworking going to play out? And how's the FBI now that they say that, according to John Cornyn, that they're going to get involved and help locate? But again, the governor says no federal law has been broken. After he said that at the state fair during the Q&A portion in here in Springfield yesterday, I had to ask the governor about what kind of line might be drawn here. How are Texas Democrats getting resources to leave Texas and stay away from home? How do you not cross that line into bribery for accepting resources in exchange for avoiding a vote on a controversial issue, right? I mean, it's the same thing. You can get a bribe for not acting, or you can get a bribe for acting, right? So that question I had to pose to the governor, saying, where do you draw that line? Getting those resources and getting bribery.
What?
And I had to clarify bribery. Here's the governor.
Have you ever been forced to spend a lot of time away from your family and your job? I can just say these people are making enormous sacrifices. They're here because they're fighting for democracy. And I've said that over and over again. We all ought to be supporting people who are standing up for our country, for our constitutional republic.
So he didn't really address the question, but Cornyn, he said that he's got concerns here. And again, go to the story at thecentersquare.com where you'll see it says the reality is that let's go to Cornyn's comments here. Here we go. Just trying to find it here. I apologize. John Cornyn put out a statement essentially worried that you're going to have these Texas Democrats running afoul, possibly even into bribery. I could have sworn I had that quote in there. Regardless, you can find that here at thecentersquare.com, where you've got Cornyn, again, here it is, saying that he's concerned the Texas legislators could, by avoiding their duties and getting funds in return, they may be guilty of bribery or other public corruption. But again, the governor didn't really address that question when I asked him.
Have you ever been forced to spend a lot of time away from your family and your job? I can just say these people are making enormous sacrifices. They're here because they're fighting for democracy. And I've said that over and over again. We all ought to be supporting people who are standing up for our country, for our constitutional republic.
All right, so the governor also was asked yesterday about the plans that Illinois Democrats have if Texas changes their maps to give congressional Republicans 5 extra seats in 2026. And maybe Indiana is going to do some kind of, redrawing of maps. Maybe some other Republican states do that. What are Illinois Democrats going to do about that?
Look, they're aware, and the only brief conversations that I've had about it have been about the fact that we've got to do everything we can, and we're all looking for the right avenues. And let me be clear, we already have taken an enormous step. We have welcomed those Texas House Democrats to the state of Illinois. That is a big step. You can see that a whole lot of attention by Donald Trump, by the FBI, by John Cornyn, by Greg Abbott has been brought on the state of Illinois as a result of all of that. And that's not something we're seeking. It's just, their attempt, again, to thwart democracy. So as far as I'm concerned, we're doing the right thing, and I'm proud of it. and I'm not going to back down. We're going to do everything we can to protect these Texas House Democrats and to help them do what they're doing. These are heroes. I mean, so much that they've given up for all of us. They frankly should be supported by all of us.
So we're going to see a governor talking about what the Democrats in Illinois plan to do if there's changes to Texas's congressional maps. But when he was asked directly about is Illinois going to draw new maps, here's his response.
Nobody's done any work on a map for Illinois. We have a map in Illinois. It was passed and signed back in 2021. That's when they're done, right after a decennial census. And that's when they should be done, not in the middle of a decade, just because Donald Trump wants to change the math for 2026. So I'm happy that we did it back then. We're not making any moves right now. If we have to, we're going to look at all the options that are available to us. Yes, Alex.
So what are the options, right? What are the options that are available to them? Changing the maps, maybe. And listen, there's no law, from my understanding, nationwide that prevents states from changing their maps whenever they want to change their maps. They just have to base it off the most recent census data. But what's interesting is you've got, again, go to thecentersquare.com. President Trump calls for new census excluding undocumented immigrants. We'll touch on that here in a moment. But we know the impact of international migration into states, because if you look at Illinois, over 10 years, we lost population, domestic population, people moving out of the state of Illinois to other states like Texas, like Florida, and even Indiana and Missouri. You've got people moving out of the state of Illinois to those states. But the most recent census estimate, we actually gained population because the number of incoming international migrants into Illinois, and that's the term that's used when they track this data, it outpaced the number of people moving out of Illinois. So you had people coming from other countries to Illinois, but then you had Illinoisans leaving the state, and the number of international visitors or residents from other countries moving in outnumbered those moving out. So will we see an updated census? How quick could that come about under the Trump administration? Not too sure. But obviously that could throw even more interesting twists and turns into this entire story. State Representative Brad Halbrook was at an unrelated event talking about energy prices. And he was asked about what he thinks that the Illinois Democrats may do if indeed Texas changes their maps.
I would expect them to kind of lose control. That they're all about maintaining the status quo. It's just really hypocritical, I think, of the governor to bring these folks in from these legislators from Texas when he's standing on the worst Jerry maps in our state's history, and in the nation. It's just hypocritical. What their response will be, I don't really know.
How all of this is going to play out, we'll be watching closely. It's something we've talked about all week, and I think it's going to continue, especially again with that lawsuit that Texas Republicans in the Texas House joined with Illinois State Senator Jill Tracy to allow for the Texas warrants to be domesticated in Illinois. But obviously yesterday was the state fair. Governor J.B. Pritzker cutting the ribbon there. It's going to be a lot of interesting, heated political talk next week for Governor's Day, and then the following day being Republican Day here at the Illinois State Fair in Springfield. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning here for more Illinois in Focus with the Center Square.
Well, I think that it's pretty obvious because during his tenure, He's destroyed safety and security, quality education, economic opportunity, energy independence, just names 4 off the hit parade. Those should be.
State Representative Chris Miller, a Republican, looking at new polling data from Illinois Policy Institute and M3 Strategies that shows Governor J.B. Pritzker is underwater in a favorability poll. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we break things down for you here in the land of Lincoln. 2026, we still months away, obviously. Just, August 8th, so it's not quite time to ring in the new year, but the political season's already started. People are circulating petitions to get on the Democrats ballot for the primary and the Republican ballot for the primary, and that's going to be in March. And then you've got the November elections, the midterm election for Congress with members of the U.S. House running for re-election. And even in Illinois, we've got U.S. Senator Dick Durbin vacating his seat after this term, so we are going to get a new U.S. Senator. Is it going to be a Democrat or a Republican? I guess we'll find out in November of 2026. But something else that's up in 2026, Governor J.B. Pritzker's second term. So he has announced he's running for a third term, and is that going to be a easy run, or is he heading up against some headwinds after almost 8 years he'll have of running the state of Illinois, and all of the tax increases, the increased spending? We're looking at some of the data, and it's pretty remarkable how much the state has increased in spending just over the past 8 years, let alone the past 12 years. So what's Governor J.B. Pritzker's favorability? Jim Talamonte, reporter out of Chicago for the Center Square, he wrote this to give you an idea of how Governor Pritzker's approval rating is in the latest polling data.
The Illinois Policy Institute's newest Lincoln poll, conducted by M3 Strategies, found that 50.2% of voters view the governor unfavorably, and 47.2% view Pritzker favorably. Illinois Policy Institute senior fellow and former Illinois State Rep Mark Batnick said he would have advised Pritzker not to run for a third term.
Third terms often are called the third term curse, number one. Number two, running a general election for governor doesn't match with what you talk about running in a far-left Democratic primary for president.
Batnick said M3 Strategies nailed the Chicago mayoral race and other Illinois elections.
If you look at M3's polling has been extremely accurate in terms of what they've released publicly.
60% of respondents identified taxes as a top issue facing Illinois.
The fact that he has the gall to talk about Trump's tariffs and calling them a tax on the working class, well, that just reminds everybody that he massively raised the gas tax, that our property taxes are number one in the nation.
Batnick said it's possible that 10% of the people who previously voted for Pritzker now support President Donald Trump.
He's leaning into those things that are giving the Democrats low popularity, right? The extremism of the Democratic Party does not play with the general electorate.
I'm Jim Talamonte.
You can hear more of a conversation that I have with Jim for Illinois in Focus Weekend Edition, which if you subscribe to us here on YouTube, you'll get that. If you subscribe to us via any podcast server, you'll get that. And Illinois in Focus Weekend Edition is kind of our weekend wrap-up of all of these different types of stories. So Jim and I walk through that for you. And you can even catch that on some broadcast stations as well across the state of Illinois. Illinois in Focus Weekend Edition. But let's take a look at that polling data, the actual release that the M3 Strategies and Illinois Policy put out here, so that we can kind of get a general sense of the stuff they're looking at. So they surveyed 752 likely 2026 general election voters between July 15th and July 18th, and has a margin of error of 3.57%. It finds that high taxes dominates the top issue statewide, cited by 60% of respondents. State governance was only 26%, the economy 25%, 19% for crime, other concerns that were raised. Despite frequent media and political focus, education only got 17% of concern, housing at 13%, immigration at 12%, fall further down the priority list. 50.1% respondents say they would prefer to move away from Illinois if given the opportunity. Only 41% said they would prefer to stay, and around 9% said that they were unsure. Notably, Notably, Trump voters, 86%, are far more likely to want to leave the state than Harris voters, 24%, indicating ideological dissatisfaction may be fueling the desire to relocate. Regionally, Southern Illinois, 69%, and Central Illinois, 55% of voters show the strongest intent to move. Policy suggestions, tax relief and fiscal reform, anti-Chicago sentiment and regional sentiments, and also education reform and school funding reform. Just some of these other issues, criminal justice, immigration enforcement, government accountability. And again, you can link up to this at the story that Jim put together at the Center Square and read this for yourself. So Governor Pritzker's favorability declined, where he used to enjoy a modest low single-digit positive net favorability. His net favorability has softened, and for the first time in these ongoing tracking polls, Pritzker has registered a negative net favorability of minus 2.98%. It's right there, just below the margin of error as well. So that's got to be pointed out. So again, some of the various breakouts here of the polling questions and how the respondents responded. You can find this linked up at thecentersquare.com. So the governor, is he going into having an unfavorable rating, looking for a third term, and how's that going to impact the election in 2026? But a big question is, who's going to be the Republican candidate? Now, again, the primary hasn't happened yet. We got a primary in March. We've heard some names tossed out there for Republican contenders. Sheriff Mendrick, one of them, for instance. So, is he going to be the most prominent person in this, or is there going to be somebody else who all of a sudden comes out of nowhere? We've heard other names thrown around, but I guess we won't find out until the actual filing period begins. I think it's in October when they have to turn petitions in to get on the primary ballot. So who's the Republican candidate going to be to go up against Governor J.B. Pritzker as an incumbent looking for a third term? It's a big question. But one thing that I think Republicans are already looking at is what are the issues that Pritzker is most vulnerable on, especially considering this polling data, having Pritzker for the first time underwater in favorability. Here is Republican State Representative Chris Miller. Dan, go.
It's pretty obvious because during his tenure, he's destroyed safety and security, quality education, economic opportunity, energy independence. Just names 4 off the hit parade. Those should resonate with every voter. And why they would think that a leopard never changes his spots, and to think that he's going to change anything if you give him one more term, I don't see that happening. So those are 4 things just off the top of my head that is going to make him extremely vulnerable. The problem is we have a complicit press. They never ask him any hardball questions. They never ever have any hard follow-up questions. And so basically he's been able to scam the citizens of Illinois into thinking that he's Mr. Wonderful, which he's been the orchestra director of this mess, and he's actually screwed up one of the greatest states in the United States of America.
Again, that's Republican State Representative Chris Miller reacting to the latest polling data showing that Pritzker's underwater for the first time heading into an election year. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop on this Friday. Each and every weekday morning, you can wake up with us here for more Illinois in Focus Daily, only with the Center Square. J.B. Pritzker and First Lady M.K. Pritzker with the Illinois Department of Agriculture Director Jerry Costello, State Fair Manager Rebecca Clark, and even Springfield's Mayor Misty Buscher there talking about the 2025 Illinois State Fair now open. Yesterday was the Twilight Parade after the ribbon cutting. The governor went around and visited various
If you look
locations,
at those signs, you'll see that.
All right, visited various locations and took in the state fair. And there's a lot of tax dollars involved there. The headline at thecentersquare.com, Illinois State Fair Affordable Fund backed by $140 million in taxpayer funding. Katrina Barker putting this together for the Center Square. Here is the Department of Agriculture Director, Jerry Costello, talking about all the tax dollars that are going into the fairgrounds.
If you look at those signs, you'll see the $85.5 million represented in the Rebuild Illinois program, as well as $55.3 million our Buildings and Grounds has taken out of the Illinois Department of Agriculture budget to revitalize these fairgrounds.
Now, he also talked about the family budget and how it's constantly being stressed. And when it comes to entertainment funding and budgets for families, it's stretched pretty thin.
Entertainment dollars, extracurricular dollars are being stretched very thin. I can tell you this, I promise you, because I get phone calls at times at 6 in the morning. Governor Pritzker has hammered into us, make the fair affordable. He wants Illinoisans, regardless of income, to have a chance to experience the Illinois State Fair.
So how much is the fair? Well, to get in, it's $5 to park, $5 admission most days, $3 food specials. Kids under 12 get in for free. There's $2 entry for adults and seniors on certain days. So a lot of dollars are going to be spent. Trust me. I mean, if you want to get some food at the fair, it's, if you're there all day, it's $10 here, $5 there. It's just have a lot of cash on you, I guess, is one way to put it. But obviously, affordable fun, it comes with that $140 million that's been put into it, including money from Rebuild Illinois, which you've got the doubling of the gas tax that happened in 2019 with the regular increase that happens every year tied to inflation to increase the amount of funds going into that. And a lot of the money's going into repairs at the fairgrounds, which, having been at the fair in some capacity for the past 20 years, it definitely had a lot of deferred maintenance. And former Republican Governor Bruce Rauner came in and really, I think he put together like a foundation to help bring some private dollars into it. And that helped build some things up, restore some things, and take care of some of that deferred maintenance. And then Pritzker comes in with the Rebuild Illinois plan and the doubling of the gas tax, and a lot of that money being used for roads and whatnot, but also some of it being used for facilities at the state fairgrounds. You've got Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher, who talked about the economic activity the Illinois State Fair brings to the capital city.
And a little birdie over there told me that this weekend you will be hard-pressed to find a hotel room in this city because of the Illinois State Fair. That is what the State Fair brings to Springfield. Please come out, see the facilities, see the investment from the state. It's your tax dollars going to this wonderful facility.
And there's a lot that's been done. Paved roads, new walkways, buildings being restored, the updated Coliseum, for instance, which is a big deal because that's where a lot of the livestock shows happen. So the State Fair open, and it's open for business. But it's not just the agricultural expo and all the food, it's also the entertainment. Rebecca Clark, the State Fair manager, talks about one show that's coming up Monday. It's a free concert at the grandstand.
We even, thanks to Governor Pritzker, are able to bring back the free grandstand concert on Monday night. And don't forget, parking every day is only $5 on our fairgrounds. We know that family budgets are tight, and that's why we've done everything we can to ensure that families who walk through these gates can create lasting memories without breaking the bank.
So Clark talking about trying to keep it as affordable as possible. So the Illinois State Fair, are you going to be there? What's some of your favorite things? Comment below if you're live. I would love to hear your thoughts on this debate about the best fair food. And in particular, I guess we got to do this now. Why not? All right. So yesterday, Governor J.B. Pritzker, after he took questions, he came up and offered, walking towards members of the press, some corn dogs. He had 2 corn dogs in his hand. He had a corn dog with mustard on it and a corn dog with ketchup on it. Now, I'm just going to kind of pause it here because last year he had poked fun at one of the reporters there because the reporter said he liked ketchup on his corn dog. And he did something similar last year. So this year, after last year, I had asked, well, what about being pro-choice and allowing people to choose if they want ketchup or mustard on their corn dogs? Interesting question. But this year, the governor, instead of going to that one reporter, he instead went to me, where he presented me the option of ketchup or mustard. I told him I couldn't accept a gift from the governor. I did take the ketchup one, didn't eat it. But listen, for the record, I do both. Another reporter not wanting the mustard hot dog, corn dog. So for the record, I put both mustard and ketchup on my corn dog. I don't discriminate. Would love to hear you guys. All right. So on the live chat, go and sound off. Ketchup or mustard? Which is it? Or both? Are you like me? Both. I don't discriminate between ketchup and mustard. I put both on my corn dogs. So yeah, load up the live chat with is it ketchup or mustard on corn dogs? I'm going to sit here for a moment. Brian says no ketchup. Let's see here. Grace, that's something else. Yeah, yesterday people pointed that out. Me and fellow journalist Alex Degman had very similar shirts on. If you could see this, here's Alex here, and here I am with the shirt. They weren't the same pattern, but man, were they very close. But yeah, okay, here we go. We got plenty of the live chat popping in here. Both. AJ says both. Right on. None. Patriot doesn't like any condiments. Time Traveler says mustard. Stanky Skunk says both. Mike says none. Deidrin says both. Mustard from Pat. Jennifer says mustard, 100% mustard. Dangerous Liberty says I put corn dogs in the trash. You won't catch me eating a corn dog. Sure as hell won't have ketchup on anything. That's Tattooed Squirrel sounded off on that one. Keith says both. Beware of JB bearing gifts, Kevin says. It was interesting because, I mean, the question, if you missed the previous segment, I just asked the governor about the fine line between bribery and just, you know, what was going on with the Texas Democrats. Anyways, kind of weird moment there after the questions and answers. David says no ketchup or mustard. John says plain. Ozzy Osbourne, I don't know the relation there, but they say horseradish. Mustard, those ribeye sandwiches, though, AJ. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get some. Barbecue sauce on a corn dog. What? Somebody else came up to me yesterday and said they put barbecue sauce on their corn dog. So Gary says that ketchup is banned in European schools. Is it really? When I was a teenager, all we wanted was the stick, Matthew says. And more comments there. Okay, that's enough fun for Friday, right? The Illinois State Fair is underway. If you're going to be out there, I'll be out there for sure on Governor's Day, Wednesday next week, and Republican Day, Thursday next week. And, of course, we'll bring all of that to you here with Illinois in Focus Daily. Each and every weekday morning, I'm Greg Bishop. Thank you so much for taking time with us. And be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us here for more Illinois in Focus Daily. One more time, the governor offering up some corn dogs and a corn dog choice, ketchup or mustard. And who does he select to make that choice? It was none other than myself. Like I said, I use both on my corn dogs. Those corn dogs. And I know those corn dogs, for some reason, people are split on that too, but that's my corn dog of choice at the Illinois State Fair. It's not an endorsement. It's just they've been there forever and just used to them. All right, guys, have a great Friday. Be sure to be back here Monday morning, all right? It's Illinois in Focus Daily with the Center Square. we got a lot to tackle heading into the weekend. If you want to stay up to date on the headlines, get to thecentersquare.com and sign up for the newsletter. It's real simple. Just go to thecentersquare.com, click on the Illinois page, click newsletter, fill out the information, and you'll get the headlines in your inbox. But you can wake up with us each and every weekday morning here on YouTube with the Center Square to get Illinois in Focus live. If you can't make the live show, we got the podcast available as well. And, well, have yourself a wonderful rest of the weekend. Don't forget, the State Fair's going on. It's open this weekend and all next week and next weekend. And it ends August 17th, so you've got plenty of time to go check that out. All right, have a great rest of your day into the weekend. We'll see you back here Monday for more Illinois in Focus Daily.